Happy Hispanic Heritage Month, everybody. This is the Slider Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Power Rangers Ninja Storm episode Double Edge Blake. So, this episode is about that of Blake because it's Hispanic Month, and I finally went back to doing my Hispanic videos because Hispanic Month just started on the 15th of this month, and so now I'm back to my Power Ranger videos. And I stopped off at, what was it? I think it was In Space. And now we're at Ninja Storm because of that. Or, how do you say his name? Is it Jorgito or is it Jorito? Vargas Jr. And his father is from Bolivia and his mother is from Argentina. So he is Hispanic. Which is interesting because I didn't even know he was Hispanic at first when I used to watch this show. I never really paid attention to his name, but he always looked Asian to me because they was filming in New Zealand. A lot of New Zealand Asian people kind of look like him and stuff. So I always assumed he was Asian until I looked up Hispanic Rangers and he showed up. And then I looked at his name for the first time. I'm like, oh, okay. That makes perfect sense. So Blake is a very interesting Power Ranger. He started off as one of those evil Power Rangers, something we haven't had in a very long time. Well, actually, no, that's true because Wild Force had an evil Ranger. So yeah, it wasn't that long ago. But, you know, him and his foster brother, Hunter, they started off as evil Power Rangers. They are Thunder Rangers, which is a very unique season because there are three different groups of Rangers. There are two Ninja Rangers, the Wind and Thunder, and then of course you have the Samurai Ranger. And it was a really unique, interesting season that will blend three different groups together and stuff. Now, the Thunder Rangers, their suits are completely different from that of Samurai and that of the Wind Ninja Rangers and stuff. When they first started on the show, they had these deep, scary type voices. But then as soon as they started to go around the nice route, they started having their normal voices. Not sure why Disney did that. They did that for this season in Dino Thunder, which I'll talk about soon when it comes to Trent. Because I never understood why they did that. As soon as they're like really, really evil, they have this like completely different voice. But then, as soon as they start to go around the nice route, they have their normal sounding voices. I never understood that. And so him and his brother used to be very moody. They were very strong and they was very adamant on destroying Sensei because they was lied to by Lothor. It was the first time we ever really saw the bad person have a group of Rangers working for him. Like actual legit Rangers and stuff. Blake loves to motocross. And as much as he loved that, he loves his brother and he crushes on Tori, which is really interesting because Blake is the Navy Ranger, a variant of blue, and Tori is the Blue Ranger, a light blue color, and it was two Blue Rangers liking each other. And in this episode, we actually get to see her crush on him and everything. And so it was kind of cool how they put the two blues together and everything. This episode is very unique because, one, we get a tiny tidbit into the Thunder Academy ninja group. And we get a very brand new weapon that only appears once and once only in this episode. Which is kind of sucky and everything. Because it's a pretty cool looking weapon. And I wish they would like bring it back, but you know, of course, they never did. And we get introduced to a brand new character who only appears one time. And so, in this episode, Tori wants to hang out with Blake, but he is nowhere to be found. He's always disappearing, which really gets on her nerves, and nobody knows where he is. For the most part, the other Rangers really don't have nothing to do in this episode. And so, like, she decides one day she's just gonna like, spy on him and stuff at one point. But anyway, so the villains are doing their typical comedic stuff. That's my only downfall of this season. The humor in the villains. I can't get my head around that crap. And so like they just do what they always do. They launch a monster down on Earth and wanted to wreak havoc. Now, this monster is very unique looking. It's made of balloons. It has tentacles. It's kind of like an octopus slash balloon looking monster and stuff, but it's very tough. And so when they fight it, like, the monster comes down, the Rangers, they morph, but oh, there's no Blake and everything. And so, like, he later shows up and he's sporting a brand new weapon, the Thunder Blade, which is this long, flat looking staff with like these edged blades on both sides. And it's something that Hunter does not have. But this monster's like pretty, somewhat tough, somewhat not. But he has like poisonous gas and everything. So it's kind of going to be hard for them to like defeat him and everything. And so, after like, the skirmish and everything, they go back to Ninja Ops. And Blake is feeling pretty cocky about himself. Like he got his new blade and everything. Not really telling nobody where it's from, and and like he's like, he's just like all happy and stuff because he has a brand new toy. And Hunter, I think, recognizes it and didn't know he had it. And so basically, Blake tells him that Sensei Amino gave it to him and stuff right before they was all captured and before they started working with Lothar. And so, like, at one point in time, he goes off by himself, and Tori decides to follow him. And it's really interesting. I love the location of where she follows him to. It's never been shown again on Power Rangers, I don't think. It's like some kind of weird underneath cave, like ruin, like type place. And it's very cool looking. I wish they would have bring that location back. But as we all know, that's never going to happen no more because Power Rangers is no longer in New Zealand. I want to point something out that I forgot to mention. So back when I said she was crushing on him, she got jealous when she saw him earlier with a girl in a very nice car. This girl is Leanne, and we've never seen her before, and she is kind of jealous, thinking, oh, he must be seeing a girl. It's really interesting to see her jealous of him because before Blake showed up, she never had a crush on like nobody else on the show. And her and Blake have always had a connection, even when he first appeared as an evil person. So she's following him and she sees him training with somebody. And it's a really nice, like, both staff type choreography and everything. I really miss the Disney era, like, American footage, like fights and everything in the civilian fights. They was very well done, which is something I don't know if I call it the Nickelodeon era, but I just sum it up like Nickelodeon, Hasbro, like Neo, Saban, Netflix era. You don't see that no more. You just don't see that great choreography no more in the fighting. And so Blake's about to get his butt kicked. And so she jumps in and the girl reveals herself to be Leanne, and he explains how he's been training with her and stuff. And Leanne's very, like, she likes the fact that Tori's willing to, like, protect her friend and everything like that. And we find out Leanne's last name is Amino. She is actually the daughter of Blake's former sensei, which I've never understood that. The last name Amino is very unique. And Leanne looks white. And Sensei Amino, I don't know what race that dude is. Because, it's from New Zealand. So I don't think, like, I don't think he's white. So I always wonder that. But anyways. And so apparently she's very proficient with this, like, Thunderblade and stuff. And we get a flashback of, like, throughout the episode of, like, her and him training back in the day. I love the scenery of the flashback the tinted like colors and everything, and just the choreography is so great. Like my God, I miss this. I miss the Disney era of Power Rangers. And so, like, now Tori realizes, oh, he ain't stepping. Well, technically, he wasn't stepping out anyway because they ain't dating. But now she knows that he ain't got no girl. And it's interesting when it comes to Leanne because she is now the head, like, sensei master of, like, the Thunder Academy someplace else around the world. And it's interesting because when the season first started, I assumed that all the ninja, like, academy people were like kidnapped. I didn't know there was other ones around the world and stuff. Which begs the question: when they knew Lothor came back and kidnapped the others, why ain't they showed up to help? Because they never show up to like help, which is always kind of odd and weird now that you think about it. And so at some point, like the monster attacks again and they have to morph. And we finally get a solo morph of that of Blake. He's fighting the monster, but this time he can't really defeat this dude. He's tougher. And Blake is getting very frustrated and stuff. And, he's very good with this weapon and everything. He doesn't use his signature weapon, but he's very good with this one. And so he's just getting like, beside himself and don't understand what's going on. So then he has that flashback of like the past and everything of when, like, I believe he defeated Leanne a long time ago. So he uses a different technique. He breaks the staff in half. I assume he was going to use it as kind of like two daggers or something. But no, he just tosses one at the monster and hits it. And then he uses the other, does his like, sky of wonder, power of thunder. And then he just like, leaps up in the air as like big as he can. Lightning bolts around and he just like slashes the monster. And then the monster just collapses. And I'm just kind of like, that's it. I thought you were going to do something like really cool when you broke it in half. And I thought you were going to like bust them up or something like that. With some really cool like martial arts move or something. But nah. And so then, of course, they make the monster big and everything. And so this was so weird. So, like, okay, the other Rangers were fighting Calzax, right? But this is what's so weird. And I'm going to do a video on this very soon because I don't understand this. Cam was just at Ninja Ops, watching the whole thing. He didn't try to assist in any part, yet he's the Samurai Ranger. And this is what really bugs me about 6 additional Rangers. They're always missing from the fight. I don't get it. If he's supposed to be the most powerful, then why in the world is he not there helping? But he comes out in the Megazord fight. They form the Zords and they defeat the monster. And then so, like, after Blake parted ways with that Leanne at one point, him and Tori are hanging out and he realizes something. She was jealous of Leanne, indicating she's crushing on him. So of course he likes that and everything. So they like goof around I think they're at the beach and they're just like smacking each other, having a good time, flirting with one another. Ah, those love taps. But this was a really cool action-packed episode. It was cool to get like a new weapon and everything. It was cool to introduce a brand new character. And it really shaped the relationship of Blake and Tori moving forward. Even though it really didn't move forward that much in the show because, of course, they're not allowed to do that.